Hey guys, welcome to another edition of The Watch Collector. My name's Ollie. Today we're looking at probably a titan, frankly, of horology, but not in the way that you would normally see it represented. Before we get there, of course, the obligatory wristwatch check, and today I'm wearing the Laurent Ferrier Sport Auto in blue grade 5 titanium. So you may have seen another one of my videos on another brand, and that's the Amida Digitrend. And if you have, then you know that I absolutely love what Amida did with this super faithful reinterpretation of a 70s classic. Now, of course, this is in the Casquette design, but it has the light reflecting prism using a horizontally positioned movement, but then using that prism to reflect vertically so that you have sweeping seconds and sweeping hands, all in a driver's style presentation. Wonderful reinterpretation, reintroduced over the last couple of years, and of course they've since updated it with the open sapphire, which is my personal favorite. But we're not actually here to talk about the Amida. What we're here to talk about is this, which is the Girard-Perregaux Casquette 2.0. Now, this version was originally introduced in 1976. Girard-Perregaux only made 8,200 of them over a 2-year period from 76 to 78. And this was really their kind of response to the quartz crisis. The idea to have a piece that had super high polishing, what you'd expect in horology, but combining it with quartz representation of the time, because around that time was, of course, what we now determine as the quartz crisis. So this piece is 42.5 millimeters in diameter, 33.6 millimeters in height. It's in full grade 5 titanium, so exceptionally light. You also have really nice nods, actually. I like the way that they've stamped the logo. This is in 2N yellow gold. Breaks up the look of what could potentially otherwise be a little bit bulky in terms of the front of the watch. And the pushes are also in 2N rose gold. Of course, it's quartz, so there's no sapphire crystal caseback, but the star of the show is not only the look of it and the polishing and the brushed finishes, but of course it's that quartz Knight Rider, David Hasselhoff kind of look, which I'll get to show you now. So you have multiple ways of multiple functions, I should say. So if I press what is to me the right hand side pusher, then that displays the time. So you can see 11:29 now. If I press the other side, then that will take you through the multiple different modes that it has. So time, seconds, it has a GMT function. This is set for 2 hours in the future. Cycle it through. Day, date, month, year, and then we're back to the time. It has other functions as well. Of course, this is digital, it has to have a chronograph. But what I want to show you is this. So if I hold down that side, if I let it go down, then it will disappear. I want to show you this. So what this has is what's called a secret memo function. And you can set a time, date, year, 1976, of course, this was the original launch. Feels like we're going back to the future here. Month, day, date, and on. So if we were to go back in time to 1976, just before I just set it, this would then display a reminder of that special date for when you've set it. For example, an anniversary, a birthday, or something along those lines. I think it's a really cool, neat function that sort of demonstrates the flexibility of quartz and digital watches. You know, it's wonderful to be able to do these things mechanically, and of course, you know, we absolutely love the way that watch manufacturers and their ingenuity create movements that allow these kinds of things. but how easy was that as part of a quartz movement with a digital readout? Let me throw it on the wrist and I'll see how it wears. Okay, so full grade titanium, as I mentioned, so even lighter than the Sport Auto. Of course, Sport Auto has a full mechanical movement in it with a platinum rotor, so definitely the head is going to be heavier, but that really just lends charm to this. You can feel the finishing on the bracelet is excellent. It is absolutely 70s. It's a little bit rugged, but I really love the way that the polishing along the flanks of the case sort of widens as it gets towards the aperture for the screen. I think what they've done, as I mentioned, with the 2N yellow gold, to have the GP logo on the top and with the pushes on the side, it breaks it up, makes it look a lot less monoblocky, and as a result kind of increases the visual lightness of the piece. It's incredibly comfortable, and I think actually on the wrist looks really good. If you're a fan of the 70s, God, I'm just trying to think to myself, how does this compare to the Mida? I mean, I love the Amida, but I love this too for very different reasons. The lightness is amazing. I really like that. I love the polishing. And what I really appreciate about both of them is the fact they're really watches just for you. If anyone, people don't know about the Casquette, whether the 2.0 or the original, or the Amida trend, and they see it on the wrist, especially on the bracelet, they may just think you're wearing a piece of jewelry. Of course, they may or may not be for everybody, but it becomes a very private viewing as to the time, and especially in relation to the secret memo, that really just increases that real kind of bond, I suppose, that I think so many of us have with our timepieces. Creates it very special, creates it very unique, and of course very personal to you. So guys, that's the Girard-Perregaux Casquette 2.0. I thought I would like it. I didn't think I would like it as much as I do. It's a really cool reinterpretation of a 70s classic. I'd love to know what you think. GP Casquette 2.0, Amida Digitrend, which one does it better? Quartz, mechanical, the look is similar but very, very different. They both have absolutely their own identity. But yeah, would love to know what you think. But that's enough for me from now. That's the Girard-Perregaux Casquette 2.0. We'll see you next time.